We're kind of honored to have Nate here with us. He's only about 5 hours late this morning, right, Nate? I look at it this way, Nate. You know, you're creating memories.
Yeah.
You know, you're creating memories. Oh well. I see one time you do the TikTok stuff too. Yeah. Do ya?
Out plowing corn, I got me some cold PBR stashed in the barn. And I love leaning up against my old John.
Alright, Kyle just pulled in here a little bit ago. He's got 6 brand new Michelin tires on there that we're going to put on the 7200. He's just getting set up here with the jacks or whatever. He's going to start with the rear tires first. Gonna just get right after it here. So this is Kyle McLaughlin. This is our tire guy here. We've been doing business with these guys forever, right, Kyle? Yeah. He's gonna have these tires on there in about 15 minutes, believe it or not. These are cracks in the windshield of this telehandler. We got the duals on the forks. They actually got both of them on there. We're just gonna move these out to the bunk that the tractor is staged in for Kyle to swap these over as well. We let him set up in the bunk so that he's got concrete to work on, and he can use his crane and get all the way around the tractor without having to be limited to space here. So that's kind of why we're doing it in this messy old bunk. But he's got both rear tires off. He dismounted those tires in the amount of time that it took us to go and grab these tires and grab the telehandler and grab the tires. Had these tires dismounted in the amount of time it took me to grab the telehandler and them duals. We're gonna leave now, and we'll set it up for a time lapse. This whole thing will be on a time lapse here. So now we're gonna leave them alone. got the tires all on the 7200. Now what we need to do is we need to move the inner wheels in. I've got the jacks underneath each side, so I've got it up off the ground. I've got to move the tires in, and I've got my hubs set out here. Those hubs are going to go on the axle. That's what the duals bolt to. So what we need to do, we need to loosen up. Oh, there's 5 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need to loosen them up, and then we need to run these 3 bolts in here. And what that will do is knock this wedge out. And then what there is a groove part of this axle here for some of you that aren't familiar with these style axles. And we can just run this bolt to draw the wheel in. But before we draw it in, we're going to draw it out. I've got the axle cleaned up with some Scotch-Brite. I need to get a little more of that cleaned off, and then this wheel is going to move. The wedge is going to move to about here. We want the wheel as close to this inner fender as we can get it, so that we can maintain proper spacing for 30-inch rows in case we put this tractor on the corn planter. But before it goes on the corn planter, it's got to have another remote added here, which can be done. These are just stacked. These valves are just stacked together, and I'm thinking about putting another remote on there so I can plant corn with this tractor. But let's get these bolts loose, walk the axle out, clean the axle up, and then walk it back in. Alright, so we've got the hub on there. The only problem is I don't know where that hub needs to be so that we can maintain the proper spacing here. So we're going to leave the wedge bolts loose, get all the wheel studs out of there, wheel the dual in, and then we'll have to do our measurements. The other side we can just go off of this side. I don't see a mark in this axle anywhere. On where this hub was at, I don't know if it was out to the end here or not. It might have been. So we're gonna move it out there. It's easier to push it in than it is to pull it out, especially when the wheel's on there. So we're gonna have to do some screwing around here to get it to where we need it to be. All right, we're ready to put the dual on. This hub here is an under first hub and wheels, and what it has is a centering pin right here, and then you got to line that up with the dual. Not all duals are like that, so what we might have to do, depending on where the wheel orientation ends up when we get it in here, we're going to have to start the tractor up and turn the wheel and get this peg to line up with their appropriate spot in the rim. I think there might be 2 spots in the rim. Looks like we got a pin missing right there, but looks like they thread out. So let's bring the wheel in. And it's a little known fact, any of you tire guys will agree with me on this. It's actually easier to handle these wheels alone, wheeling them. than it is to have two guys on it, because you end up working against each other. But we've got Nate here helping us now. Once we get the studs in here, we're going to jack this up. I got to push this wheel in order to get our spacing right. I didn't know where this hub had to go, so I had it out. But we're kind of honored to have Nate here with us. He's only about 5 hours late this morning, right, Nate? Friday night's a pretty good party night. If anybody doesn't know it, Nate's pretty popular on Snapchat here. And what's your Snapchat username? Channel?
I don't know.
You don't know what it is? He's usually out doing foolish things on Friday nights to get the right pictures and whatever for Snapchat. So this is the only guy I know that can do a full split. Can you demonstrate that for us right now, or do you need a few beers in you?
Not right now.
Oh, he can do a full split. So we need to see that sometime, Nate. Well, we like to give him a little crap every now and again when he's late every day, but he takes it he takes it in stride. But I know I let him sleep in today, didn't I? Yeah. I didn't bother you till 11 o'clock. But he's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed now, so we'll see what we can get out of him here. So I don't need to put all these in, do I? So what is your Snapchat name? Nate Willie? Nate
Lilypad.
Nate Lilypad?
Yeah.
You're gonna have a bunch of friends now just looking for them drunken moments on a Friday night. I look at it this way, Nate, you know? You're creating memories.
Yeah.
You know, you're creating memories. What was the theme last night? You don't know what the theme?
No.
I gotta check Snapchat in order to know what the theme was. And you could go back to it too and find out what the theme was.
Yeah.
Usually by the time the theme is developed, Nate doesn't know what's going on. He just pulls it out of midair, don't you?
Yeah.
So. Oh well. I see one time. You do the TikTok stuff too?
Yeah.
Do ya? The Friday night TikTok with Nate? Yeah.
Out plowing corn, I got me some cold PBR stashed in the barn. And I love leaning up against my old John Deere, drinking beer in a bar, singing country.
Alright, we've got the proper wheel spacing. Nate was helpful to get me, to help me push that in here. He demonstrated his beer muscles for sure. He is a pretty tough guy there, I have to tell you. I probably shouldn't pick on him too much because he could probably wog me up pretty good, but he'd have to get up pretty early in the morning to be able to do that. So, alright, so we're going to tighten this hub up, tighten the wheel up, and then we're going to move over to the other side. Alright, now we're on this side here. I've got this hub all loose, and I just need to take the jam bolts and stuff them in there. is going to do it for the tire job here on the 7200. I've got to get a couple of new bolts for this dual hub. We had one that got kind of mushroomed on the end from pushing these wedges out. Actually, I got to get 2 new bolts for that. And we've got these tires set, the rear tires anyway, set for 30-inch corn rows. I haven't done anything with the fronts yet. If we do decide to put a 4th remote on this tractor and plant corn with, all we got to do is flop the front tires around so that the front tires will track for 30-inch rows as well. So that's going to do it for this video. We're getting ready to do the kingpins on the lift axle of truck 15. That video will be coming up here in the next couple days anyways. I'm actually going to try to get some decent non-blurry coverage. Hopefully the camera's focused in on that job there. But that's going to do it. I want to thank you for watching. Leave me a thumbs up. Drop me a comment down below. And we'll catch you at the next video.